Take a journey through the paranormal with the Paranormal Portal.
Hello and welcome to the Paranormal Portal, and I'm your host Kieran Begg. Thank you very much for joining. In the last episode we talked about how I came into the paranormal field and how I found my love for the paranormal at a very young age. In this episode I am very happy to say that I am joined by a colleague and a friend, someone who is as interested in the paranormal as I am, and someone who is a team member of my paranormal group, Torchlight Paranormal. Today I am joined with Chris Richards. We have conducted an interview together, and here is the interview. Hello and welcome to the Paranormal Portal. Today I am interviewing Chris Richards, who is an investigator with Torchlight Paranormal. Welcome to the show, Chris.
How you doing?
Thank you very much for joining me. I've got a few questions which I just quite like to ask you for this interview, if you are happy enough to continue on. How long have you been investigating the paranormal?
Well, I joined Torchlight Paranormal, I think, in 2016, and then my first investigation was the Vassal Centre, fish ponds, and I think that was late 2016 it was.
What do you think has been the best piece of evidence that you've caught as a paranormal investigator?
Well, to be honest, it's actually my own home, funny enough, because, I think, my house, there's something here, and basically, with Torchlight Paranormal, I put a trigger object in my room, which was flower covered in flour. Then I placed my recorder next to it, and the funny thing is on the Torchlight Paranormal website, you can actually hear what I've caught. It was two slow bangs. Then there was a man, which seemed to have said, you need to leave or something like that. And then we caught humming, which was quite fascinating, really.
And did that frighten you, did it?
It didn't frighten me. It's just kind of, it's weird because obviously it's in my own room. So, I didn't sleep well that night, but...
If you had a choice, what would be the one location that you'd like to investigate?
That is a tough one. To be fair, it's not... I don't really have a place. I would love to visit something, investigate something like, an old asylum, an old prison, an old fort, something like that, Because I don't really have a place, just like a setting for an investigation, if that makes sense.
What made you want to become an investigator?
I know this sounds really, really bad because we all know the stories around Most Haunted, but at the time, when you're, there was nothing like it on TV,
Yeah.
And when I seen what they were up to, it really intrigued me, and it's, just that really, and it's just, I know it's like, Most Haunted's got all the surrounding it, because, we just watch it for entertainment now, which is hilarious. That's what made me want to get to investigation scene, really. So
was there anything in particular that happened to you on a paranormal level that made you want to get into investigating?
Not really. It's sort of... Well, I say that, but my grandfather died. This was... I think it was about a year before I contacted Torchlight.
Yeah.
And what I seen was my grandfather in his bedroom window. And he was leaning on the windowsill at me, and he sort of smiled through a little gap in the net. And I could tell it was him. And what was really weird is he smiled at me. And then when my mother went to clean my nan's room, where he died, this was probably a couple of months after he died.
Yeah.
And he used to have these plastic sort of bags, what old pensioners used, the plastic bags where they put all their pound coins and stuff.
All right, yeah.
Now, my nan and my mum, following his death, they made sure they cleared every last one of them out. The next morning when they went up there was just a plastic money envelope just lying on the floor. It was in plain sight. And do you know what I mean? It kind of got me thinking, well, that's weird.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really make sense. I know for a fact they cleared them all out because I watched them do it. The fact that there was just a plastic wallet just lying on the floor, it was kind of a bit odd. It was kind of it's almost as, I know it sounds silly and corny, but it was kind of like a sign from him that I really did see him and I wasn't seeing things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, absolutely does. Obviously, being a paranormal investigator, you have to use a lot of equipment, you have to use a lot of machinery and and different ways of investigating the paranormal. But in your opinion, what is the best piece of equipment if someone was wanting to start out as an investigator?
Do you know the best thing is just recording equipment? Like that can capture sound. To me, like it's just a simple EVP recorder. I love it because you can just put it in a room, leave it as I've done. You come back and you get bloody humming on there, and you're thinking, well, I know for a fact I was the only one in the house, that sort of thing. And I would honestly say the good old-fashioned EVP recorder, because you can just get an app on your phone, as I have, and just literally put it in a room or ask questions or whatever you want to do. And I guarantee, well, you won't always catch something, but when you do, you kind of think, well, that's odd, It's just, I love the EVP recorder, definitely. It's my favorite.
So have you got any advice for anyone who'd want to start out as an investigator?
Well, it's kind of a hard field, you know what I mean? Because you got to rely on the generosity of people, but it's kind of, I would say mostly like you just ring round and you ask some places and just hopefully you'll get lucky. I know that's not really good advice, but that's kind of what me and my team were doing, because a lot of people kind of, they worry about letting strangers like roam their place at night, if that makes sense. So you kind of got to gain their trust, and then hopefully you'll just make sure that you get the generosity, and also just have a small team. You don't need like Most Haunted. I mean, how many is that? Like 11, 12? Just a small team, so the noise that you make is reduced, so that if you do catch something and you're both together, it makes it more like, oh, I wonder what that could be. Do you know what I mean? Like, it gives you more sort of reason to test things out. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're in a small team, you can communicate better. And
well, thank you very much, Chris. It's been really, really interesting. You take care.
Thanks for having me on your show. It's been great.
No problem. And that was my interview with Chris Richards from Torchlight Paranormal. Thank you very much for listening to this episode, guys. For more information, please head over to Facebook, follow us on Facebook. You can also send us tweets or follow us on Twitter at ParanormalPort1. And we're also on YouTube as well. Just type in Paranormal Portal and you'll find us there, where these podcasts will be available for your listening pleasure. Until next time, guys, thank you very much. You take care. Bye-bye.
Take a journey through the paranormal with the Paranormal Portal.